A few years back, a business owner walked into our offices. He was used to storing his digital documents on Google Drive. Whenever he would receive documents in his email, he would directly transfer them to Google Drive. This had become a routine. Thus, also his staff would do the same on the shared Google Drive. And this was done in no systematic order. Although he was doing this with his digital documents, he also used to get paper documents, which had compiled and accumulated in his office space. And thus, he needed also to upload these to the Google Drive. So instead of this bringing relief, what occurred was a digital mess. I'll tell you a story. Let's call him Alex. Alex was a medium-sized business owner. He owned a logistic company. And they were receiving lots of documents. Some were in digital format and some were in paper format. They would receive invoices, they would receive delivery notes, and they would receive receipts, and they'd accumulated over the years. One time, 2 months earlier, before he came to see us in office, it had rained heavily, and his office got flooded. So this caused his office got flooded, and the documents that were in the office some of the documents were messed up. And this made him come with that decision of having these documents scanned and so that they could be stored as digital copies. And that is where he told his staff to. He actually bought a scanner, and he told his staff to scan these documents and upload them in the shared Google Drive, you remember? So the staff did the job. They scanned all the documents, all the paper documents that were in the office, and they were uploaded into the Google Drive in one folder, which they labeled scanned docs. In this, as they were storing these documents, there was no systematic order. They were just stored haphazardly. There was no naming strategy. There were no specific folders put in place. Everybody could access these documents, and there was even no backup. It didn't take time before a client complaint came up. Alex was looking for a signed contract that had done with this client just before the floods took place, and it could not be found. So the staff was on a searching mission. Day 1, it was nowhere. Day 2, day 3, which turned into week 1. Week 2, the document was found on the 4th week. And Alex was frustrated. This is when he realized there was a problem. What he didn't know was that digitization was a systemized process. It's not just about scanning. So what were the 5 mistakes that Alex did? The first mistake that Alex did was the scanning was done with no planning, no structure. They just scanned the documents and dumped them into a folder and named it scanned docs. Mistake number 2. The scanned documents didn't even have a naming convention. They're just being scanned and uploaded haphazardly. Named maybe number 1, number 2, number 3. So you could not define even the differentiation in the documents. And then the third one is the staff didn't even have an idea on how to go about the coaching, about the scanning. They're not even trained on the process. They're not even trained that they're supposed to have these documents uploaded in a systematic order to make it easy to find these documents. And then the fourth one, everybody would access the files. There was no access control. There was no permission. It was not like there were specific people to access the documents with permission, like authorized personnel. Everybody could access these documents, even the sensitive ones like the HR documents. And this was not in good taste. When Alex reached out, he was very frustrated and he needed advice on how he would sort out his challenges because he thought this was not going to go on. So, what could he have done right? He could have first sorted out his documents. He didn't have to scan all the documents. They should have been audited. They separate the duplicated copies. They remain with the essential copies. Maybe some documents had even reached their retention period. They need to be scanned so that they retain the ones which were necessary. They shred the ones that were not necessary anymore, and then they store the ones that maybe would be required later. And number two, he could have planned and come up with a structure on how he was going to store these documents. How are they going to be arranged in the folders? Was he going to arrange them in a departmental manner so that each and every department had their files stored separately? So, and then number three, he did not create a naming convention. They could have had a standard naming convention so that each and every staff knows and understands that this is how the files were going, and have it set up as an SOP, standard operating procedure, that this is how the files are supposed to be. The staff could have been trained. They could have been told this is how the process goes. They could have been coached through the process so that it becomes a continuous thing, that whenever they want to upload the document, there's a systematic way of uploading the document to make it easy for the documents to be searchable. He could have also put an access control, which he didn't put her then. That is why everybody could access the documents in the shared drive. But if he could have put in the access control, whereby only authorized personnel could access specific documents, like maybe HR could just be accessed by the HR department. So what I should have known is that digitization is more than scanning. It's about clarity, accessibility, and peace of mind. Most businesses skip that and end up with digital messes instead of digital systems. If you're thinking of going paperless, book a session with us and let's map your business transition the smart way. Subscribe for more real stories and strategies to help your business work smarter, not harder.